You've been waiting your whole life, waiting for someone to call you a high-value man, waiting for someone to hand you the crown, waiting for recognition, for permission, for validation. But here's the brutal truth no one dares to say. There is no crown coming, and the man who waits to be crowned never becomes a king. Otto Weininger once wrote, "It is the mark of the true man to create meaning when none is given." And yet, you've spent years hoping that someone else would give it to you, as if meaning were a gift. It's not. Life offers opportunity, but meaning? That's your burden to bear, and your privilege to build. So ask yourself honestly, not what do you want, but what are you willing to suffer for? Because make no mistake, you will suffer. You'll suffer chasing applause that never arrives. You'll suffer in silence so heavy it almost breaks you. But only one of those paths forges a man. The other forges a slave. So stop asking if she notices you. Stop asking if the world approves of you. Ask instead, am I willing to shoulder the unbearable weight of my own freedom? Weininger didn't sugarcoat it. He who carries his own meaning fears no rejection. You've spent a lifetime fearing rejection, fearing failure, fearing loneliness, fearing being invisible. But the man who builds for eternity doesn't fear being unseen, because he sees himself, and that is enough. So build your empire, write your book, forge a legacy that doesn't need applause to stand tall. Do it not for praise, but because anything less would betray the man you were born to become. And when you stop performing, when you stop waiting, when you stop needing, that's when you'll face the truth. You were never being played by the world. You were being played by yourself. And that, brother, is when the game ends and life finally begins. Listen closely now. This is the fork in the road, where most men lean back into comfort, but a few brave ones lean forward into transformation. This is where boys get entertained, and men get reborn. You've spent your life auditioning for a role you were born to own. You waited for approval from people who were never qualified to give it. But this is your moment. Right here. Right now. You either bury the false self, or you go back to pretending you never heard this message. Weininger didn't write for comfort. He wrote for courage. And his words cut because they're true. True masculinity begins where the need for validation ends. You weren't made to chase applause. You weren't made to beg for meaning in someone else's eyes. You were made to carry the weight of your own existence, to build without permission, to speak without applause, to live without being chosen. Because life has already chosen you, and the only one with the authority to crown you is you. So stop scrolling through other men's lives, trying to steal the courage to begin yours. Stop hiding behind your own potential. Stop waiting for one more sign, one more moment, one more spark. You don't need more advice. You don't need more time. You don't need more certainty. You need to act. Because every second you play small is a second you rob from the man you were destined to become. The man who builds for eternity. The man who speaks with gravity. The man who creates without applause. The man who chooses himself. And if you feel that pressure tightening in your chest, good. That's not fear. That's not anxiety. That's the death of the boy who waited, and the birth of the man who moves. So stand up. Take ownership. Step into the silence. And build what you were born to build. If you're ready to stop being played, if you're ready to start playing to win, then like this video. Share it with the brother who needs to hear this. Subscribe for more brutal truths. And if this mission matters to you, support the channel through the link below. Because men like us don't wait to be chosen. We choose ourselves. And we build anyway. Because if you were truly honest with yourself, you'd admit one thing. You're doing it for approval. Not for love. Not for purpose. But for the pathetic little comfort of not being alone. Dostoevsky saw this game in every man. The man who performs like a jester, building castles where he holds no crown, laying brick after brick for a palace. He was never meant to rule, begging for validation. He should have earned from himself, long before she ever arrived. And what happens to that man? He lies to himself. And a man who lies to himself, Dostoevsky warned, loses all respect for himself. And when he has no respect, he can no longer love, not truly. That man is you. Because what you call love isn't love at all. It's servitude, dressed up in romantic language. It's slavery, disguised as masculine duty. And deep down, you already know how this story ends. You upgrade her life. You fund her dreams. You elevate her comfort. You open every door you can. And one day, she leaves. Not because she's evil, but because she can sense that none of it was built for you. You weren't building a life. You were building a pitch, an audition, a trap with flowers and credit cards. You didn't build to lead. You built to impress. You built to be needed. And the moment she no longer needed you, she no longer respected you. You think I'm being dramatic? Look around. Look at the millions of men who gave everything they had and ended up with nothing but memories they paid for alone. Dostoevsky understood this sickness. He called it the underground man, a pitiful creature who confused his bitterness with depth, who couldn't face the weight of existence. So he clung to someone else's shadow. He made his weakness a philosophy, his dependency a virtue. And you're one compromise away from becoming him. You've traded ambition for comfort. You've traded mission for attention. You've surrendered your entire future for a seat at someone else's table. A table where you're always the guest, never the master. And now, you wake up bitter. You feel hollow. You feel like a fraud. Why? Because you know You didn't build this life from strength. You built it from fear. From the fear of standing alone. From the fear of silence. From the fear of becoming a man whose identity doesn't orbit around being someone else's emotional provider. And here's what Dostoevsky already knew. No woman will respect the man who erases himself just to make her feel comfortable. No woman will stay with the man who sacrifices his mission just to sustain her lifestyle. No woman will follow the man who forgot to lead himself. And the most painful part? You already knew all of this. You've known it for a long time. But you couldn't bear to admit it. Because if you did, you'd have to face the guilt of how much of yourself you've already lost. So here's your warning. If you keep living like this, if you keep trading pieces of your soul, one upgrade at a time, you will wake up one day in a future you built for her and realize you no longer exist in it. You'll become a ghost, a hollow shell, haunting the life you could have lived. Yet still, you cling to the noble lie that you're doing the right thing, that your self-sacrifice is heroic. You wear it like a badge. How much you've given, how much you've endured, how much you've suffered. But Dostoevsky saw right through men like you. Men who dress up cowardice as duty, who mistake self-erasure for honor. He once wrote, "Suffering is part of the vast love of the universe. But meaningless suffering, self-inflicted suffering, that is a betrayal of the soul. This isn't strength. This is madness. And you chose it. Willingly, repeatedly, silently. You are not suffering like a man. You're suffering like a slave. Like someone who threw away his vision, his voice, his very reason for existing, just to stop her from walking away. And the cruelest part? She can't even respect you for it. Because deep down, she sees the truth you keep hiding from yourself. You're not doing it from power. You're doing it from fear. Fear of solitude. Fear of being unloved. Fear of building a life with your own two hands and having no one else to blame if it collapses. So you pass that burden onto her. You crown her your mission. You turn her success into your oxygen. Her dreams become the only reason you breathe. And when she finally walks away, you tell yourself you were used. But let's be real. You volunteered. You handed her the pen and begged her to write your story. Dostoevsky had a name for this. Spiritual humiliation. The slow, silent death of a man, too afraid to build his own empire. So he rents space in someone else's. And you think you're different? No. You're just another man who believes that sacrifice is virtue. But sacrifice without self-respect is just slow suicide. You've forgotten the first and final law of manhood. You are responsible for your own survival. Not hers. Not theirs. Yours. If you don't build yourself, if you don't lead yourself, if you don't fight for yourself, then one day, you'll find yourself begging for the very life you could have forged all along. And yes, she will leave. Not because she's cruel, but because she never wanted to carry the weight you refused to lift. You made her your identity. You wrapped your worth around her affection. And the day she stopped needing you, she stopped respecting you. Why? Because the moment you stopped living for your purpose, you stopped being a man. And she saw it before you were brave enough to admit it. So choose now. Keep destroying yourself, brick by brick, to upgrade her comfort, while your own life falls into pieces. Or wake up, reclaim your mission, rebuild your dignity, and stop trading your soul for a fleeting seat at a table that was never yours. Because Dostoevsky warned us long before I did. You don't lose your life in one grand collapse. You lose it inch by inch, excuse by excuse, day by day. Until all that's left is a ghost of the man you were meant to become. Now you're standing in the ashes of a life you thought was built on love, but was really built on fear. And here's the part no one dares to say. You still don't know who you are without her. That is the true tragedy. Because you could have built a fortress. You could have carved a legacy from stone. You could have become a man so whole no woman could ever outgrow you. But you didn't. You built her dream. You bought her comfort. You padded her life while yours became smaller, quieter, emptier. And now, you want gratitude? You want loyalty? You want her to stay? She owes you nothing. Not love. Not appreciation. Not even a goodbye. Because you didn't do it for her. You did it for the version of yourself so desperate to feel needed that he mistook dependency for value. Dostoevsky once wrote, "To love is to suffer, and to suffer is to love." But here's the part he didn't need to say out loud. Suffering without boundaries is not love. It's self-betrayal. You were never meant to erase yourself. You were never meant to trade your mission for someone else's comfort. You were never meant to shrink your soul just to make her feel secure. You were meant to build something far greater. Something that would command respect. Something that would outlive her presence. Something she could look to and say, "That is a man who leads." But you didn't. You built a temple in her name. Lit every candle with trembling hands. Swept the floors spotless with your dreams. And then waited, like a beggar, outside your own creation, hoping she would invite you back in. Look at your life. Look at the energy you've spent trying to make her dreams come true. Look at the jobs you turned down, the passions you silenced, the years you've set on fire, just to keep her from walking away. Now tell me, what did you build for yourself? Where is your foundation? Where is your vision? Where is your fortress? You don't know, do you? Because you never made yourself the mission. You never made yourself the project. You never made yourself the man she could admire. The man who didn't need saving. And now you're alone. Not because she left, but because you were never really there. You were too busy building her world, while yours faded quietly into ash. So here's your final warning. If you don't break this cycle now, if you don't take back your mind, if you don't rebuild your essence from the ruins, you will live the rest of your days as the man who spent his life upgrading someone else's life, while his own vanished in the background. That is how most men die. Not in one tragic moment, but in 1,000 unnoticed choices. Empty, forgotten, unbuilt. But that doesn't have to be your ending. Not if you rise now. Dostoevsky once wrote, "The darker the night, the brighter the stars." And right now, brother, you're in the night. You've lost years. You've lost purpose. You've lost the reflection in the mirror. You used to stand tall before, but you haven't lost everything. Not yet. Because you still have the one power that separates men from ghosts. The power to stop lying to yourself. Dostoevsky saw the man who collapses under the weight of his own illusions. He saw the man who breaks because the truth was too heavy to carry. But he also believed in the man who rises after everything is gone. That man could still be you. But first, you must kill the lie that your worth depends on being needed. You must let go of the idea that you were born to be anyone's emotional crutch, retirement plan, or silent sponsor of their peace, at the cost of your own torment. You must stop playing the martyr. Stop playing the fool. Stop giving the world away just to avoid the pain of being alone. You were born to lead. You were born to suffer for a purpose that is yours, to fight for a vision that does not need her applause. You were born to build something that carries your name with weight, to live without hope. Dostoevsky warned, is to cease to live, and you've lived without hope long enough. It's time to stop performing. It's time to stop waiting for your turn to matter. It's time to rebuild. From silence. From loss. From nothing. Because the man who rises from nothing finally becomes something no one can take away. It's time to walk away. Not from love. Not from women. Not from people. But from the version of you that made them your only reason to live. Because the world doesn't need another man who exists just to win approval. The world is starving for men who build from the inside out. Men who choose mission over comfort. Men who choose meaning over validation. Men who choose responsibility over applause. And here's the cold, brutal truth. You don't need her life to get better. You need your life to stop falling apart. So stand up. Not for her. Not for them. For you. Because when you rebuild yourself, when you rise from the ashes of your wasted years, when you stop trying to buy love with sacrifice, you won't have to beg anyone to stay. They'll follow. Because this time, you'll actually be leading. But don't confuse this path for an easy one. Dostoevsky made that clear. Nothing meaningful ever is. He wrote, "The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. And that's what you've been avoiding. Not pain. Not sacrifice. Not failure. You've been avoiding the void. That aching emptiness inside. That reminds you. You've never defined your own reason to be. Because it's easier to make someone else the mission. It's easier to chase someone else's dream. It's easier to disappear inside another life than to take responsibility for building your own. You've mastered the art of giving without ever planting your own roots. You've sacrificed without standing for anything. You've provided without leading. And now that it's all over, now that she's gone, now that you're alone, with nothing but your own reflection, you finally realize you never built anything that truly belonged to you. But hidden inside this collapse is your greatest opportunity. She's gone, and now you have nothing to hide behind. No one left to blame. No one left to carry the burden. You always refuse to shoulder yourself. And this is where the real work begins. It begins when you stop apologizing for finally choosing yourself. It begins when you stop outsourcing your masculinity to someone else's comfort. It begins when you take full responsibility for the life you were always afraid to build. Because the man you once were, the man who upgraded her life while his own slowly rotted, he's already dead. And the man you must become, he's not born out of comfort. He's not born from praise. He's not born through sacrifice for others, while starving yourself in the shadows. He is born the moment you decide to suffer for something that is yours. You think you lost her? No. You lost yourself. You lost your dignity. You lost your strength. You lost your years. You lost your mission. And you've been living in those ruins ever since, blaming her, when in truth, you abandoned yourself first. Dostoevsky's greatest warning was never really about women. It was about men who sell their souls by living for everything but the truth. And here it is. The truth you've avoided your whole life. No one is coming. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to rebuild you. No one is coming to hand you back the years you burned away. You will either rise now or rot forever in the memory of the man you refused to become. The choice is yours, and the clock is already ticking. You've upgraded her life, her dreams, her comfort, and called it manhood. But let me tell you something no one else had the spine to say. Validation is not love. Validation is a drug. A sedative for men terrified of living without someone else's approval. And every time you bend, every time you chase, every time you give more of yourself just to keep her smiling, you're feeding the addiction that's slowly killing you. You don't need another woman to tell you you're enough. You need to become enough for yourself. So here's what you do. And don't just listen, do it. First, kill the savior complex. Stop trying to fix her. Stop trying to rescue her. Stop making her happiness your divine mission. You are not her God. You are not her father. You are not her life raft. You are a man. A man with a purpose far greater than keeping her happy. And here's the hard truth. A woman doesn't want a man who lives for her validation. She wants a man who lives for his mission. A mission so powerful, so rooted in vision, that she fights to be part of it. Second, rebuild your mission. What is your life's work? What have you neglected? What dream did you bury just to play the provider? It's time to dig it up. It's time to suffer for something that is yours. Your body, rebuild it. Your business, rebuild it. Your mind, rebuild it. Your discipline, rebuild it. Your name, rebuild it. The world doesn't need another man who gave everything away. It needs a man so committed to his own path. That validation from women feels small compared to the mountain he's climbing. Third, confront the empty man inside. Sit in silence. No phone. No scrolling. No distractions. Just you. And the version of you you've been running from. Write down every excuse that stole your time. Face them. One by one. Because until you do, you'll always return to women to fill the void you never had the courage to face. Fourth, earn your own respect. Start doing hard things for you. Not for her. Not for applause. Not for pity. Wake up early. Train like it matters. Build your craft. Keep your word. Make promises to yourself and keep them. Because a man who respects himself never begs for it from anyone else. Fifth, redefine what you want from women. Stop seeking comfort. Stop seeking to be needed. Stop making them your mission. Instead, become the man worth following. The man who stands alone first. When you build yourself, you'll stop attracting those who use you and start attracting those who honor you. Lastly, guard your energy. Like your life depends on it, because it does. Stop pouring into people who leave you empty. Stop dying quietly in relationships that never build with you. And here's your final move. Make today the day you stop hiding behind excuses. Make today the day you stop performing for validation. Make today the day you start rebuilding. Brick by brick, decision by decision, war by war. Because no woman, no family, no audience will ever give you the respect you refuse to earn from yourself. And if this message hit you, if you know you've been that man, don't just scroll away. Drop it in the comments. I choose to build myself first. Let the world see you're done playing small. If this message matters to you, support the channel. We're the merch that says something real. Every shirt, every product isn't just merch. It's a reminder that your life belongs to you now. So hit that like button. Share this with the men still asleep. Subscribe if you're ready to stop watching from the sidelines. And click the link in the description to support this mission. Because Dostoevsky already told you, Only real men will ever understand this. And now it's time to prove you are one of them.
Thanks for spending time here. If this resonated with you, give it a like, send it to a friend, and make sure you're subscribed. Your support means everything.